Google just added something new to Antigravity called Skills, and it's already changing the way we work with prompts. Instead of rewriting the same prompt over and over again, you just create a skill once, you put it in a folder, and then the agent will automatically decide to use it when it's relevant. If you're new here, my name is Dan. I've been a developer for a decade earning 6 figures. I quit all of that so I can build an AI agency and teach it right here on YouTube. In this video I'll show you exactly what skills are, and I'll build a few real ones for my everyday work. Like writing videos, structuring ideas, creating thumbnails. This will show you how to set up your own skills for the kind of work you do every single day. So here is the documentation that Google just launched on Antigravity Skills. You'll notice that they call this an open standard. It's like an universal plug. It's a set of rules that anyone can use so that different tools can talk to each other and work together perfectly. A skill is just a file inside a folder with some structure. Now, if we look at the structure inside the skill, you'll see that it's repeatable. You have a name, a description, then some detailed instructions for your skill, when to use it and how to use it. That's basically it. You can modify this structure if you feel it's necessary, but I do recommend sticking to this one. Also, the folder structure can get a little bit more complex. You have the actual skill, you have helper scripts. Don't worry, you don't have to know how to code. These are optional and these will be created by Antigravity. Then some examples. If the skill is too complex, then we can actually give examples. And then you have resources. For example, we'll be using this when we want to generate a thumbnail because it must start from a reference photo, and we'll be adding it right here. It's basically a set and forget system. It's like getting upgrades for your employees. Once this exists inside your folder structure, it will know how to do it. The most important Antigravity skill is a meta skill. One that helps you create all your other skills. With this you don't have to repeat yourself every time you want to add a new skill. First, if you haven't already, go to antigravity.google and download the IDE. Choose the right version for your operating system. See, right here. Now, let's go ahead and open Antigravity. Okay, you should be seeing this exact interface right here. So click on Open Folder. This runs on a folder on your machine. Create a new one. I'll just name mine YouTube Skills. Great, now click on Open. Right here you can toggle your agent. And let's start with creating the first skill, which is the skill creator. So go back to Antigravity's documentation right here and copy from here to here. Copy, then go back to Antigravity, paste it, and also tell it, based on this, create a skill called Skill Creator that creates all my other skills. Send it and let's see what it does. It's pretty much done. Just press on accept all right here, and on the left side in the project explorer you can see that it created a new folder .agent. Now open it, and inside you'll see that you have two more folders: skills, skill creator, and then you have a file called skill.md. And it's exactly the same structure that we've seen inside the documentation. Okay, this is great. Now let's start building our actual real skills. If I just ask ChatGPT or Gemini for YouTube video titles without context, I get generic ones. The problem is that most AI models are trained on the average of the internet, and the average doesn't go viral. So to fix this, we'll create an Antigravity skill. First, in order to use the skill we already created called Skill Creator, you have to mention it. So it's just like how you do it on WhatsApp or on social media. And you have to mention the file, which is called skill. So write skill and then select it. You can also see the folder name right here. Make sure it's the one from Skill Creator. And then tell it something like create a skill called Title Creator. The skill takes an idea and a parameter for the number of videos. Step the skill must perform. Detect the current daytime so we know everything is actual. Search YouTube for recent and trending videos related to that given idea. Extract several top relevant video titles. Analyze their patterns. Generate original and higher engagement titles inspired by those patterns. And this is very important, do not copy existing titles. Save the generated titles in a JSON file in the videos directory. Call it idea.json so it will have the idea name in its file name. So let's send the prompt. We can accept the file changes and then we can check the skill. It's right here, name, description, exactly the same format. And then it has the steps that we added in the prompt. Now let's test it. And by the way, this skill doesn't need to be perfect from scratch. You can update it based on your findings. So you'll be working with it and you'll find problems and then fix them as you go. It's just like an employee that has to continuously learn. So in order to use it, mention it, add skill, and then find the one in Title Creator. It's the one right here. And then you'll have to give it the video idea, Antigravity versus NA10. And then you'll have to mention how many titles you want. 5 titles. Let's see what it does. So it's done. Again, we can accept the changes, go to videos and see what it did. So it created this JSON right here. It added a structure let's see if it added it to the actual skill. Okay, it's right here. Great. Is N810 dead in 2026? Anti-gravity hands-on review. This doesn't sound too bad. It did a great job. Okay, now we just saved 1 hour of my time every time I'm researching what title to put on my new video. I just have to come back to anti-gravity and tell it to use this skill that it just learned. Now, I'm not a photographer or color grading expert, but I still want great thumbnails. So each time I want to create a thumbnail with the AI, I have to use ChatGPT to create the prompt beforehand. If we create an anti-gravity skill, then we'll only have to do it once. Now, let's go to ChatGPT and actually create a guide for creating the thumbnails. I'm gonna turn on temporary chat so it doesn't have any context. It doesn't know who he's talking to, so it can ask me a bunch of questions. I need to define a guide for creating my YouTube thumbnails, but I'm not an expert on photography, color grading, design and all that stuff. So ask me a question to decide how this should be. Also, all the thumbnails will start from a subject. Now let's start answering the questions. I'll skip for this. Okay, so I just answered all the questions. I'm gonna send the prompt and see what it answers. Now let's copy the style guide that it generated. Go back to anti-gravity. Mention the skill creator skill, the one right here. Create a skill that generates my thumbnails. Thumbnail guide. Just paste it. Awesome. Awesome. Now, don't send it yet. Let's add some space right here between the create a skill that generates my thumbnails and thumbnail guide. If you click enter, then you'll send the prompt. So you have to click shift enter. You will receive a video ID as a parameter. Search the corresponding JSON file in the videos directory. So it must look for this file right here. They'll look for the selected title. So right now we have 5 titles. We have to select only one. We can do this 2 ways. We can just delete 4 titles and leave only one, but I'll do it a bit differently. They'll look for the selected title. For that title, create a thumbnail. If there is no selected title, ask the user to select it and update the JSON with it. And then store the thumbnail generated in the videos directory under idea _ thumbnail. Send. And it is done. Let's see what it did. So go to thumbnail creator right here, go to the skill. It added how to use it, locate video data, validate title selection. Awesome. Construct the image prompt. So it's gonna construct the prompt before actually generating the image. It took what we told him as rules, and then it will generate the image and store it inside the videos folder. Let's test it. So mention it with skill, the one for thumbnail creator, and let's say anti-gravity versus N810 again, and send. Okay, so it just stopped because it's asking me please select a title to use for the thumbnail generation. So it's at this step right here, validate title selection. So let's choose a title. I'm gonna go with one. So I'll just write on and send. Okay, so it just updated the JSON. So if we check it again, then it added a new field called selected title. I forgot something important. I forgot to give it a subject. So it generated the thumbnail, looks pretty good. The background looks nice, but this is not me, as you probably can tell. So inside the thumbnail creator, we'll have to add a new folder called resources. And in here, I have to add a subject, which is me. So let me just get an image of myself. Okay, I just added it. Now we have to update the skill, and mention the skill you want updated, thumbnail creator, to use. Let's rename the file to subject.png inside its resources folder as the subject of the thumbnail. And this is what I was saying earlier. You have to refine the skill as you use it. Critically, you must use the subject PNG file found in this skills resources directory. Awesome. Accept the changes. And let's go ahead and test it. Select it skill from thumbnail creator, anti-gravity versus N810. And it's done. It added me instead of the other person that was here. It looks great. I think it made my eyes a bit too big, so I'd have to play with it a bit to not edit the subject as much as it did, but it's great for now. Now, every video I make on YouTube follows basically the same structure. So let's build an anti-gravity skill for that. I already have my own documentation for how I want my videos to be, so let's drop that into anti-gravity. Let's mention the skill creator skill. So create a skill that scripts my videos based on the selected title in the idea.json file. This one right here. You'll receive this as a parameter. Store the response in another file in the video directory under idea_script.md. So we want the script to be stored right here, near the video title. Then the video should use the following rules and structure, and then I just gave it my scripting guide, what I take into consideration when I script parts of my videos. And it's done. So let's check it, it's script creator right here, skill.md. Awesome, looks awesome. Now let's actually test it. So mention it, the one from script creator, and then let's give it the idea, anti-gravity versus N810. Awesome, it is done. Let's check the script. I know it looks a bit ugly because this is a markdown format, so you can just right click on the file and click on open preview, and then you can see it looking all better. It also gives me the visual, split screen, left side, a messy N8N workflow. Okay. If you are still spending hours debugging JSON nodes in N8N, you are working harder, not smarter. Okay, it's a starting point. This is something I could work on. This is something I can adapt to how I'm actually talking. I used to swear by N8N. I blew my entire business on it, but okay, this is not right. I still use N8N. Don't listen to this. Now that's it. We just built 3 skills that I'm using almost every single day. So I just saved a lot of time. Of course, I have to work and refine these skills right here. It's just like getting a new employee. You have to teach it your ways. And you have to tell it what exactly is that you want. Because you don't want it to be guessing. You want it to have a clear, repeatable structure. But you only have to do this once. If you were using a chatbot for this, like ChatGPT or Gemini, then you'd have to give it this context every single time. You'd have to store it somewhere, copy, paste it, but this is too much. Nobody does that. Well, I know it looks a bit technical right now, editing files in an IDE, but eventually these will be the apps you have on your phone or on your laptop. Claude actually started this with their own friendly version. But I recommend staying in anti-gravity and learning the roots of this. Because once you understand skills, you can start adding real apps and workflows on top of them, all in the same place. In fact, if you want to see how this looks inside a real app, I built one that uses these skills end-to-end in about 20 minutes. If that sounds useful, then watch this video right here, and see you there.